It's like you wake up, you sit in your bed, and you think like, "Shit, like this is a great idea."
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Like, what's the next step?
Well, so if that was the actual scenario, you always want to test it. You want to see if your thesis is right. So it's like, hey, I'm coming up with this new, this new business idea, right? The last thing you want to do is like, write some business plan and write it all out and spend hours of time and do all these things. Like at the end of the day, you're like, hey, let's just say this idea, I can connect this person and that person and sell it, right?
Yeah.
Super high level. Well, then go do it. Like go find the buyer, find the seller, and see if you can connect the two and actually see if there's value. Like you don't need a business plan for that. If it works, then try it again. If it works again, okay, now might be time to get more serious, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's
so it's
the
like
first
just
step.
finding like a very simple blueprint for doing something. Like for example, in this case, like finding the buyer and the seller and somehow connecting them. This would be like a sort of first thing to do, but like in a way, you basically find in there minimal. What's the minimal? What's the
MVP?
Product, right? Minimal viable product.
It doesn't even have to be a product. Like you don't need to say, oh dude, I don't have money. Like I want to build this product and I don't have technical experience and all that stuff at the end of the day can be solved with money. But before that, you got to see if like you can even do it manually, right? So it's like, oh, I have this great idea. It's like, okay, cool. Well, can you actually connect what you're doing or sell the product like without any other thing? Or would you say like for the starters it's like always that easy? It should be that easy as like really like sort of grabbing this person, that person, and just kind of connecting them? I guess it depends on what you're selling.
I guess if you're like really big, if you're like a corporation and trying to enter a new business, I guess it's a whole different story.
Right.
But if you're just like a random, like a normal, I don't know,
just
a guy,
if you, it depends on what you're doing, right? But at the end of the day, it's like you need to be able to sell your product or service, right? Maybe it's a new way of like yoga and you're like, oh, well, I can't afford a studio. And like, I don't have this and I have that. Like the truth of the matter is when you don't have money, you are the most creative. Yeah,
that's true. This is also true.
I think at the end of the day, like money, it's like more money, more problems, so can you do something? And that really, if you're ever going to get money from someone else that's not your mom or dad or significant other or someone, like you need to hustle. Like you need to figure out, okay, I got this new like yoga concept, right? Well, how can I, hustle my way around, or go on Facebook, build a group, build a community, go outside, or I don't even know, maybe it's inside. It's like maybe, a friend to a friend
like
has
100 different
100 different things.
100 different ways to like try to make it work.
Most people don't do that, and that's why they, at the end of the day, don't start a business because it's hard to fail. Like, but I'll tell you that if you have that perseverance, if it's like, hey, I want to open a pizza shop, but I don't have the money to open the shop. What's the first thing you probably do? Well, you probably, make the cool pizzas, you make them for your friends, they like them, and then you're like, okay, well maybe I can go to like a yard sale and start selling them, and then you sell that, and then you build up. And at that point you're like, okay, well now I know people want it. Now what do I do? Okay, well, do you want to open a restaurant? Do you want to build a franchise? Like, do you want to build like a tech product that like, I don't know, what do you want to do? And that will then tell you like, okay, well, how much money do I need, right? And you always, in business, things always take longer and cost more money.
I feel like this is just a rule for life, man.
That's the rule for life. Everything happens.
Exactly. At least 1/3 more, like 1/3 of money you have to spend more. At least.
So probably, I think that's that hustle. You'll find the people. At the end of the day, if you need an investment, you need to build relationships because you're at such an early stage that you can have a business plan, but things aren't going to go what the business plan says, or
Definitely
else it'd be
man.
like, let's just go to business school and then we'll be successful. Like most people, that's not the case, right? So, you know, at the end of the day,
it's like writing KPI without having a business. So like,
you can write anything into a spreadsheet. Like it's trust, you know, people, relationships are everything. So if you are serious about a business, people will give you money because they trust you. That's it. Like, you know, they know they're not going to really get rich because it's a high risk investment. But at the end of the day, if they believe in you, you'll get money. And there's plenty of people in town that have money, you know, and it's like, well, how much money? It's like, well, I mean,
what's the next step?
Do you sound like, and here's how, like, okay, so I make some investments, right? Only in tech. So some things I look at are, you know, and I've seen hundreds, if not at this point, maybe 1,000 startups, because, you know, I try to mentor at different places and try to give back. And at the end of the day, is a person seem trustworthy? Do they seem like they have a vision to know what they want to do? And again, you know, do they sound responsible with what they're going to do with your money?
Exactly.
Do they sound like they have a plan? And the plan doesn't always work out, but at least they've thought about the plan. And
it's going
that's
to get
pretty
rich,
important.
man.
And that's it, right? I think some people think like, oh, well, you're an investor, you should just give me money. It's like, well, but
it's always like, if you, when you just like your whole life when you work for somebody, it's a whole different story when you actually start hiring people. You know what I mean? It's like, I think only when I started to like actually look at people and like think of like how would they work for me and like actually spending money on them, I realized like what's actually important in the, you know, on an interview. If I would right now go and try to apply somewhere, and it's such a like it's just a different mentality, man. So it's just like